And so you're a financial advisor, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's a potential client, you'll be like advising their accounts or like what does that look like?
Yeah, it was so it was a business that they don't like their 401k provider, and they're $110 million a year business. So, and they only have 9 employees, so they want me to take over their retirement accounts and do financial advice, long-term planning with each of their 9 employees, and work
See?
on providing insurance for them, which would be great.
Yeah, that's a huge job.
Yeah. Yeah, any advisor that has more than $100 million under management is pretty set for life. I don't normally work with businesses. I normally just work with individuals. So that one just kind of fell out of the blue and was like, hey, we need a quick appointment. I was like, okay, sure, why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So you're looking to get into the flip game?
Yeah, my wife and I are.
Oh, you're going to do a team?
Well, so here's the rub. Technically, as an advisor, I cannot do outside activities. So it's my wife's name and social on all the Amazon stuff, because there's no limitations on what she can do.
I see. But you can always list stuff under her account. You are considering Amazon in particular?
Yeah, I know the concept works. I know that it can be done. I see too many people succeeding at it not to be done. And it seems like I do sales for my day job. I don't want to worry about generating leads and going and meeting prospective clients and all the kind of stuff that you would normally do in like a sales type role outside of what I do. I like the more passive type of income. I know it's not completely passive because you got to do some work and hard work to source things and ship things. I like the idea of having a second stream of income that is less dependent upon my daily skill set that I exercise already.
Yeah, so like you kind of get to do something else with a completely different skill set, but like you also get to make money.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I've got 𝗖cie, I've got SellerAmp. We have our Amazon account all set up.
Oh, that's 1,000 times more than what most people do. So congrats. Because that's like a good 3-4 week process, as you know.
Well, I've had it set up since like 2017 when I sold a book on there. There was a book that I was reading as I was a pastor at the time. And I was looking at how much the book cost because the author died and I knew the author. And I bought the book for like $3. And then the book was going for like $60 on Amazon. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to sell this book then.
And like, it's cool because I think there are you get like better Amazon health slightly, and you might be more likely to get ungated in certain things. Do you know what gating means?
I do. Yeah.
So what's your understanding of that?
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong. Ungating is just to start. You are restricted in what you can sell basically until you can prove that you are either partnered with a wholesaler and have a legitimate order from that wholesaler, or until you submit a request for Amazon to ungate you, just verifying that you can sell that product or that group of products.
It sounds like you've done like a decent amount of research.
That I am a perpetual researcher, so I just need to find something to sell.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that stage of like you've done a solid amount of research and you're kind of like, well, what's my action step? I have an Amazon seller account. I have some of the software. Like, what exactly do I do?
Yeah, I'm trying to like do storefront stocking, so I can kind of use 𝗖cie to, I'll look in the top 100,000 of the categories. Say I'll pick a category, like usually grocery. I'm not ungated in that yet, but I have a Frontier Co-op account that I've paid for, and as soon as I find something, I have a product that I know is profitable but doesn't have enough sales from Frontier Co-op. So my plan is to order at least 10 of those from them, so I can submit that to Amazon, get ungated in the grocery category, and then start working on arbitraging grocery opportunities. But I have to find something first, and nothing that I found has an acceptable profit margin.
You're kind of trying to find something on Frontier Co-op that like is profitable and like sells enough and also gets you ungated in grocery.
Well, I mean, I do have Frontier Co-op. I found their oats is an acceptable level of profit and consistent enough, but it only sells like, I don't know, like 12 of them a month or something crazy low. So my plan was just to buy like 12 of them, buy like a month's worth, and that should be enough products to get me ungated in the grocery category. Besides that, I'm trying to do storefront stocking on, people that have less than 200 but over 50 reviews of their Amazon store, trying to find some grocery products and then do some reverse sourcing that way. But I haven't found anything that I can consistently get over a 10% profit on. And that's for my first product. I think that's cutting it a little fine.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so here's a couple of things. So I feel like like 90% of what you're trying to do, but there's like a little 10% that's just like tripping you up a little bit. I know for me, when I got myself engaged in Frontier Co-op with grocery, I think I took like a $50 loss on it. And I bought something like regardless of how fast it moves. And it was just like, I just need to get ungated in this category. Like I don't need to make profit on it. So like what you could do if you want to is just buy something that you have like a match of the ASIN with, and just buy 10 of those, and like just try not to spend like hundreds of dollars on it. Maybe buy like a tea or like a coffee or something like that. That's just like super chill and like cheap. Just get 10 of them. If you lose money on that, like $40, so be it. Frontier Co-op's not really a place where people get profitable stuff. It's kind of like for ungating. So that's why you're not finding too much if you're looking for stuff on Frontier Co-op. Hopefully that is comforting.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not using Frontier Co-op for my sourcing. I have to use them for ungating, but it's just the searching the storefronts on Amazon. I have yet to come across anything doing the reverse sourcing with 𝗬𝗶𝗶. So like I'll go to the product, I'll click, I'll look it up, look at the sales chart, make sure that it has a steady price over the course of the last 18 months, look at how many sellers are on it. And then I'll try to go, as long as my max price, I don't think it's unreasonable. I'll try and go find it. And I've yet to find anything that the max, what I can actually find the product for is going to generate more than 10% profit. Even just clicking the Google and then going to the shop category and trying to find it there.
You're pretty wanting to do online arbitrage. Have you ever considered retail arbitrage to just get your feet wet in your first couple sales, kind of?
I have considered it. I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it, except that I work full time and my wife.
I guess like you could keep doing the online arbitrage route, and like that's a great route long term. I think it's a really good route. You also could go to like a Walmart clearance or a Target clearance and like just buy a couple items that you're ungated in and are like good profit, just to like kind of see how it works and like how the process of sending an item in is, and like getting the first sale and stuff. You could do that, and you could do that still along with the ungating grocery while you learn online arbitrage.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I guess maybe I'm putting too much pressure on it because, we've got like $10,000 just of capital to deploy. It's like, I don't want to squander it. I don't want to waste it. I want it to grow.
Yeah.
And being a financial advisor, I know the market's, a crappy place right now. And I want something that I can kind of have a little more control over.
Yeah, it's a weird place to be because I feel like most beginners, like, I want to spend $20. I want to make a full-time income. And you're just like, what? But you're coming in and you're like, I have $10,000 to spend, but like, I want to make sure I'm making good purchases. So like, it's cool that you're willing to like put some money down on some stuff. I think that's awesome. And then also there's like, you could also like get your feet wet with books, like kind of like what you were saying in 2017. Like even today, there are plenty of like $30, $40, $60 books out there at like estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores. And then also, I guess we could keep talking about online arbitrage too. There's just a ton of options for what you can do.
Yeah, I guess I should have asked you, what do you do? Are you online or are you retail?
I do online arbitrage completely. Amazon FBA books for around 6 months. I did retail arbitrage for probably like 4 months. And the transition to online arbitrage took a little while, but like once you transition, it's a really good system. But the online arbitrage I do use like more expensive items from eBay, and then I sell them on Amazon. So there's some margin there. And then sometimes with the grocery, it's cool because you can sell more bulk of an item, but it's like $1 to $4 profit each or something. Mm-hmm. So you can sell a lot of units. So it's kind of just a preference game.
Yeah, and I'm not really married to either concept necessarily. I'm just trying to build something.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I know you're in Colorado. I remember when I first started retail arbitrage, I had a lot of good luck at Trader Joe's. I don't know if you have Trader Joe's in your area.
Not in Pueblo, but there's one in the Springs.
Yeah, I had a ton of luck, and like that whole, it's a grocery store. So like most of it is grocery. That would probably be an amazing place to start for retail arbitrage. Just get that ungate for grocery. And then you could like scan some things there, type some things in there. I guess that's super far to like do sustainably, but like,
well, it depends on how much capital we're throwing into it, and how much product we're moving into, or moving. If we just make because we go up to the Springs once a week, so maybe we just take Sunday afternoons and go sourcing at Trader Joe's, and it's enough to make a couple thousand a week, and that's certainly worthwhile and sustainable if it ends up being that profitable. And it's not like we have to take into account the cost of gas for that, because we're going up by there anyway.
Oh, you do go there anyways?
Yeah. In fact, we go up there on Sundays for church, and our church is literally like 5 blocks from Trader Joe's.
It's probably going to be a place to start, and it's not where you're going to like end up long term. They don't love the resellers. So like one time I was there and I found these salmon jerky dog treats, and at the time they were like $5 profit each, and it looked like I could sell like 20 a month. So I was just like, okay, let's go hard on this. Like $100, that's awesome. So I had like 20 of them, and I go to the register and she's just like scanning them, and I'm like, if it helps, I have 20 of them. The manager walks over, he's like, that's a lot of quantity. Are you reselling these? I didn't know at the time that was a problem. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're not allowed to do that. You can keep them, but don't do that again. It was just a weird, awkward situation. So like, you can definitely buy stuff and like probably like get some good test buys in there. I just personally don't do too much grocery at this point. So I'm kind of out of the grocery game, sort of.
So are you focusing like primarily on toys and beauty?
No, I do like office products. I do like printers, like computer accessories, tools, electronics, vintage electronics, $100 to $500 items. And so if they're $100 to $500 on Amazon, an eBay seller is willing to dump something on eBay for $50 that they got in a estate sale.
And most people are like you said earlier, that I just want to drop $20. So you're pricing yourself out of the competition largely.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, it's more of a commitment. It feels like more of a commitment to spend like $100 on an item, but if it's the same ROI and it has the same sales velocity. But at the same time, there are people who are like absolutely crushing it with like grocery, and beauty is a great category too. There's even some like price yourself out of it beauty items that are like $50 buy costs, like high-end beauty stuff too. You could also do bundles for grocery. Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not married to the category. So I'm not necessarily married to the idea of grocery. I just, I pay attention to like flips for miles. And that's always like the first thing that he said, get ungated in grocery and do some test buys. So I guess it's more of I'm treating it as a proof of concept. I think more than anything, I just got to figure out what exactly I'm looking for in terms of just profitable products in general. I don't necessarily even care about the category, but it's like, I feel like maybe I'm doing something wrong with the way that I'm trying to source, since I haven't come across anything that works yet. Or it's like, I don't know, am I using 𝗬𝗂 wrong? Am I looking at SellerAmp incorrectly? What
is your process? So you say that your storefront stocking stores between 50 and 200 feedback. It sounds weird to say because like it seems like 50 to 200 feedback isn't that much, but like someone with 50 to 200 feedback is like crushing it. Unless they're selling like $8 books, then they're not doing well. Yeah. So like maybe even like there are like decently good sellers with like several feedback to like 30 feedback. You could try even just like looking at those types of stores. It's harder to do storefront stocking like for a specific thing. If you're not like starting with a product that you already know is profitable. Because if you just like look at some random person's store, like that's kind of like the broad open world, you know?
Right.
But if you found like, if I find an eBay seller, like an Amazon seller who like is selling like a $300 like Milwaukee drill or something, I'm like, oh, this dude like sells Milwaukee drills. Like he's probably getting them from eBay. So let's look at his store, and there's probably like 10 other things I could do. And same with grocery, same with like shoes. So potentially looking for products in another way might be helpful. And then storefront stocking those. Sorry, I'm being such a like a Debbie Downer. Like,
no, that's okay.
Trying to be a Debbie Downer. You can it just like takes a second to get the ball rolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. I know. It's so I know that once I have, you know, a good 10, 15 products that I can buy, this is going to start the ball rolling on. It's like a capital snowball. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger until
exactly. Yeah,
I'm doing these, you know, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 months. Eventually, I've got to find the products, man.
Exactly. I think Trader Joe's would be a great place to start, and maybe online arbitrage. Let's see. So what can we do for online arbitrage? I forget all the methods, but let's take a look. This is super ironic. I'm just like, I had like a sourcing series. I forget like all the things that I put. One thing that I've done is, I don't know, there's a couple of different ways that you can go about finding grocery products probably. So you could potentially like do something like a cheap leads list or like free leads. Like there's Instagram accounts that put out leads, but you don't want to go buy those leads that like 100 people have seen, you know, and the price tanks. So from there, you look at like, if it's a South African spice, like 8 ounce, like maybe look at the 16 ounce listing, or like look at the ghost peppers spice that's similar to that. And then you can find the source for that way. And it's potentially profitable that way. With grocery too, there's opportunity if you're willing to like bubble wrap the glass. Like, you know how like there's sometimes like glass spices or glass like sauce or something, and they're bundles. In order to send those into Amazon, you need to bubble wrap it. So there could be some extra opportunity if you're willing to do those bundles and like take the time to bubble wrap it, because that's just like a little harder to do, and that's something that some people might want to do at the start.
That's what I'm finding. The harder the action is, the less people are willing to do it.
Also, just to get proof of concept, I don't want to just like make you change business models, but like I'm pretty comfortable with finding stuff eBay to Amazon. I'm just like a lot less, like honestly, I'm just less comfortable in the grocery department. I think when I was doing retail arbitrage, I was doing like 10 to 15K months, which is like nearly full-time probably.
Yeah.
Down to like all the margin and stuff. But like I'm doing a lot better with online arbitrage, higher end electronics. It just clicks with me better.
And it might with me too. Yeah. Don't trust me. There's no business model yet because there's no business because I'm not making any money. So,
well, how about this? What if we just like take a look? There's a product that I've put in a recent YouTube video. I did a YouTube video recently where I was storefront stocking for eBay to Amazon, and we came up with this product. This product has a lot of variations, and so it's probably not going to get as saturated, I don't think, and it probably would be a good place to start with storefront stocking if you're wanting to do a little bit of eBay to Amazon to like get your feet wet with it.
Let's do it.
Hopefully this screen share works. In another video, we found something like this. So this is just like a random, and we can see that there's a ton of variations here. Okay, so we have seller ramp here. And I use Rev Seller as well. I just used it first. I might discontinue it because I'm using Seller Ramp too, but it is what it is. And I can send you this ASIN too afterwards so that you can get to this listing. Basically, I think there's a couple people selling this used. It's selling for 70 new, and then used it's selling, and it's usually between 50 and 60, I think. I'm gonna move this over. Yeah, so like 50 to every once in a while, sometimes 60. So after fees and stuff, if you're able to sell this for, let's say 55, you get $45 back. So if we can find this at like something, like 30 maybe. I mean, that's a 50% ROI. That's pretty
great ROI.
Yeah, that's great. Especially with this is 1,000 in electronics. That's a very good rank for electronics. We will talk later about how to determine whether listing with variations, like how fast the variations are selling, because that is an important thing that is easy to get tripped up on. You can get to this listing and say, hey, it's at 1,600 in electronics. This is just going to fly. But if it's the variation that like is getting 0.5% of the sales, like you might be stuck with it longer than you think. So that's an important part. But so I guess we can just go into that now. So the way that you do that is you go to 𝗖𝗂. So you can either pull up 𝗖𝗂 or you can have the Chrome extension. The Chrome extension is really helpful. So click into that. Have you done this calculation before, Andrew?
No, because I haven't looked at too many things that have variations.
Cool. Well, this is a very helpful thing for variations. Very interesting. 𝗖𝗂 is telling me that there's used for 20. And that's a good sign. Anyways.
You're about to make some profit.
All right, variations. So we're on the smoky white. So what we can do here is we see all the cameras here. We see the ratings. So basically, we don't have a 100% way of knowing how fast each variation is selling, but we can guesstimate if it's getting reviews, probably getting sales. And so all the reviews are the same for each listing. And so it looks like the smoky white is getting around 22% of the ratings of this listing. So it's actually one of the more popular ones. Whereas like way down here, some of these, we don't have it filtered by most, but like this one's only getting 1% because it's a weird one.
And flamingo pink. That's wonderful.
Flamingo pink. Good old flamingo pink. But this one has 18%, so that might sell.
Oh, well, there you go. That one at the top, does that indicate that Amazon is on that buy box? Is that correct?
Where? Oh, here. So it looks like they are on that one. You can, with used, you can sometimes just undercut Amazon and that works out usually, but I just test buy much lighter if Amazon's there. So we're here, 22%. We saw over here that this is on average. I mean, it's usually 1,600. So we can do a little trick with Jungle Scout. And Jungle Scout gives us a very basic estimation of how fast an item sells for the whole listing. It's very basic, so it just gives us a ballpark of how many would sell for a month. So we can do that. I can put this link in the description as well.
Okay.
But we estimate sales. So if we were the only person on this listing, we could get 1,100 sales a month estimated. So like it could be 500, it could be 2,000. Like we don't know, but we know it sells a lot.
So then if you're the only one on the one that gets approximately 22% of the reviews, then that gets about 250 sales a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were the only one on that one, which obviously there are, if you are 1 out of 25, that still leaves
10-ish sales a month.
10-ish sales a month. But here's another layer to this. Everyone on this listing is competitively priced.
Did you say everyone is or not everyone is?
Not everyone is, or I'm guessing they're not. Most of the time it's like maybe half of them are competitively priced. So there's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, maybe 8. And some of them have a lot. So maybe only 10 competitive sellers. So like if we were able to get 25 for some reason, it's possible they would sell within a month. I would probably be very conservative and send in like 10, maybe, because it's not good getting stuck with inventory, you know?
Yeah, the goal is to avoid storage fees.
Well, it's more like you don't want to put 10 grand into a product that like sells out in 8 months, you know?
True.
Storage fees are actually not that bad, thankfully. I guess you can, I've seen some people treat Amazon like the S&P 500, where they just like buy 120 of like $100 product, and they're just like, yeah, this will sell eventually.
That's a strategy. I don't know that it's the strategy.
Yeah, so we could see, so now we know, like, we don't know if we could sell 2 of these a month. We don't know if we could sell 20 of these a month, but like we could probably sell some of these in a reasonable amount of time. So we can go on eBay and see if this is actually gonna be up for sale. So we said, I don't know, what are we gonna price this at? Maybe like 57, maybe at the very lowest, like 43. Maybe we'll say like, I don't know, 55, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't have to be exact.
Sure.
This, I think SellerAmp also does this. I just got SellerAmp, but I'm assuming they probably have a UPC somewhere. They might have a UPC somewhere, but I know RevSeller does. So sorry guys, I don't know everything, but SellerAmp might have it somewhere. But I'm gonna cut and paste this UPC and put it into eBay and see if we can find something.
And the reason you do that is so on eBay, a UPC is required for every listing. Is that right?
Usually it's just like a super easy way to search it. It may or may not be the best way to do it, you know, but we could type in like all this smoky white, et cetera, kind of just felt like using the UPC. So,
Okay.
And very cool. It looks like we have one here. So this isn't going up for like a couple weeks, so you could go ahead and snag this one if you feel like it. But so I usually look at the listing to see if they think it works. Item is dirty, but should clean up fairly. eBay sellers crack me up sometimes. Sorry if eBay sellers are watching, but yeah. So I mean, maybe you could list this as used acceptable probably. So this could be one right here. You could look at these. You could try and bid on this one that's like 30 bucks right now. This one's 30 right now. So like 31 right now would be profitable. So yeah, I mean, that's 14 bucks right there. It's usually not this easy. This one, there's like a lot of availability, I think.
Yeah.
Usually what you have to do when you like, let's say you storefront stock someone and they have like an item that looks like it would be good to sell on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
What will usually happen is you search it, you look at all the listings, there's nothing that like makes sense to buy right now, or maybe there's one or something. But what you'll have to do is go to the solds. And then you look at the solds and you'll see the history of people buying this for the right price. Buying this for, I mean, a lot of these are over our price kind of, but like this one's the right price. There was one above the right price. This one's the right price. This is an icy blue though. So some of these are like different variations, but you'll like see the history of like these people, like someone out there somewhere in the United States bought this, and like maybe they're an Amazon seller. And like if they bought this for $28, like they just made $16, $17. That could be a good place to start.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and just like, let's see if we can find this link again. Maybe not this one. You can buy and sell as used acceptable if you want to. I do sometimes as well. I don't know. Sometimes it just feels good to buy a slightly better product, you know? Yeah, where did it go? We can also go up here and filter by lowest. Yeah, so we have this one here. We have this one here. Yeah, so I mean, this is the UPC. And by the time this video goes up, there'll be a completely new set of cameras up here probably. And thankfully, I don't have that big of a YouTube channel that is just gonna like tank things. But if it goes down to like the lowest that it usually is, like 43 in the last year. I don't know. Yeah, it's just like literally 42 is probably the lowest that it ever goes. Like that's still 19%, especially at 28, and the other one's at 25. So yeah, this is a good place to start, especially like if you look into like all these variations, because like we kind of just scratched the surface here. Like there's probably money in all of these. I would probably do it in like conservatively just to like feel it out and make sure things are actually selling. Do you have any final thoughts as we close?
Well, I'm wondering, in your business, are you still doing all of your own sourcing, or are you moving to the place where you're like hiring VAs too and having them do some?
Yeah, so I have a combo right now. I have a lady named Roseanne helping me, and she does some sourcing for me. Like she'll give like, let's say I was researching this camera, and I was like, man, like it looks interesting to look into all these, but like I don't have 3 hours right now. I'll like paste this into our document and say like, hey, Roseanne, can you check these out for me like sometime this week? And I have like a document full of like stats that I want on each item so that it's just trackable for me. And like I've basically taught her how to do what I just talked about and like get a gauge for how fast things sell for those items on eBay as well. It's kind of a hybrid still. I do some like eBay searches on my phone. I just find it works well for me. That way I can be filtering by like newly listed and like buy kind of wherever I'm at, because it's good to be looking for things that are newly listed, you know, because on really high demand items, like these things don't stick around. This probably won't get snapped like immediately, but other items, like you'll click into this and it'll be gone. Someone's just sitting here like refreshing this, which is kind of nuts, but that's the world.
That's the world. No, that's okay.
Yeah. What are you up to the rest of the day?
Man, my son is watching Harry Potter series for the first time with my wife and I. So
That's fun.
we're finishing Chamber of Secrets tonight, and my garage is a gym, so I got to get a workout in this evening, and gotta go grab myself some dinner. And hopefully I'll find a profitable product on doing an eBay flip then, and we'll get our first stuff into the Amazon store.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, this is cool talking, and I hope this works out good for you. And like, feel free to message me any questions you have. Like, it's more fun to do Amazon with other people. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's just funny that I happened to run into Quentin the other day, because the only reason that I ran into him after a couple of years was he got in an accident in front of me, and I stopped because I saw it.
Really?
So
that's crazy. Is he fine or?
Yeah, he's okay. Just damage to the vehicles, but nobody was injured. But yeah, it just was funny. And then I didn't recognize him because it's been a few years, and I know his dad better than I knew him. I was just like walking people through, how do you handle an accident when you've gone through one? Because they were both kind of like, we don't know what to do. And so my wife and I knew we've been through a few that weren't our fault. And so we were like, this is what you do. Here's what your insurance company's going to do. Here's what you should do.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Are you Andrew?" I said, "Yeah." And then we made the reintroduction there. So that was really funny, and got to talking about what I'm doing and wanting to do an Amazon store. And he's like, "You should meet my buddy Seth."
Heck yeah. Well, I'm not glad he got into an accident, but I guess it helped you. Maybe.
Yeah, it's all serendipitous. Everything happens for a reason. So
crazy how life is.
Well, and I told him, if I get this Amazon store going crazy, he wants to be a missionary to Brazil. So, I'll just support him with the Amazon store profits if I'm able to get it going consistently. So
exactly. That would be cool. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. I hope this helped. I'll also send you the links to stuff too, but yeah, let's keep in contact, and I hope this goes well for you.
Sounds good. Thanks. Pleasure to meet you. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too. See you around.